Thanks, Rita. You're watching South East Today. Our top story tonight: recreational drugs, pesticides and medicine. The disturbing content in samples of seawater. Southern Water are being blamed for discharge of sewage.
It's gone on for far too long. What we're seeing is far too often sewage is being dumped in our sea, and the water companies are being allowed to get away with it.
A hot weather warning this weekend, but how should we prepare? We've been assessing the crowds at Camber Sands. From a wall surrounded by rubbish to dreamland, a Banksy goes on show for charity. And it's par for the course on family staycations, but for pro-crazy golfers, the World Championships takes place in Hastings this weekend. Hello, our seawater contains recreational drugs, pesticides and medicine. Samples taken off the south coast of England revealed the disturbing evidence, and residents in parts of West Sussex are blaming the local water company for discharging raw sewage. Southern Water says it has complied with all Environment Agency rules. It comes as more people across the country are refusing to pay their wastewater bills because of anger over sewage pollution. Yetunde Yusuf reports.
The quality of our water has become a big issue, with raw sewage being dumped in the sea. For locals in Sussex, the situation is a regular occurrence and it's concerning.
We'd had a lot more cases of people saying they'd gone into the water and they'd had stomach upsets and ear issues, and we just thought something's not quite right here. Residents
Bianca and Rob have taken matters into their own hands, getting samples of the water and sending them off to be tested.
Right, I'll do it, and then you'll pass me a bottle in a second.
At each of the 22 sites they sampled, they found on average traces of 19 different chemicals.
We found metformin, which is a diabetic drug. We have also found trimethoprim, which is an antibiotic, some nicotine, some cocaine, tramadol and naproxen. And tramadol and naproxen are actually painkillers as well. So these are all things that are coming out of people. So the way that they're getting into the water must be through the people, through the water system, through the sewage.
In a statement, Southern Water said their treatment processes already comply with stringent Environment Agency rules relating to the removal of contaminants, and that it's working with partners to explore how they can go further. For some, though, the company isn't going far enough. Julie Wasmer lives in Whitstable, and in protest, she hasn't paid her wastewater bills for nearly 2 years.
We do feel we've been deceived, and we are not going to be deceived any longer by empty promises. I've said before, we need action, and we need it now, but we want action and not promises.
This was filmed in Bexhill last August. It prompted the closure of Hastings Beach.
Well, we know last year on the August bank holiday weekend we saw beaches closed because of sewage being dumped on our beaches, and that had a knock-on impact on our local businesses, our local cafes that rely on that tourist income. So it does have an impact, and that's why the water companies should be forced to pay and should toughen up and act so that we are not seeing sewage dumped on our beaches.
In April, the government announced its plan to improve water quality, including potential unlimited fines for water companies. But for many, it seems it will take much more to convince them that the tide has turned and that the sea is safe to swim in. Yetunde Yusuf, BBC South East Today.
A couple from Sevenoaks have described a potential new drug for dementia patients as a miracle. David Asson started to experience Alzheimer's symptoms 8 years ago and volunteered for a clinical trial of the drug lecanemab. It's been hailed as the first drug to slow the destruction of the brain caused by Alzheimer's. And 3 years on from the start of the trial, David and his wife have been speaking to our health correspondent, Mark Norman.
So all of my family are in New Zealand. I don't have anybody in the UK.
David and Cheryl live with the consequences of his diagnosis of Alzheimer's. But not wanting to give in to the disease, 3 years ago they joined a clinical trial for a new drug, lecanemab. Experts believe it has the potential to become a game changer in the treatment of Alzheimer's and has given this couple some hope.
We've been on the trial for 3 years and there has been deterioration. We couldn't judge what the average deterioration would be. So we have no expertise. But Recognition Health, who are running the trial, have told us that David's been on the trial on the drug, the real thing, for 3 years, and they can prove that the amyloid has reduced.
David has a regular infusion of lecanemab. It's actually the second new drug to show promise in clinical trials.
As normal, if you just lift your arm up there for me.
Alzheimer's research have described the findings as momentous.
These are the first drugs of a generation, if you like, that will, we hope, make a real difference to people, because they will, for the first time, slow down the underlying disease in the brain of someone with Alzheimer's and give people longer and better quality of life.
I do obviously wish that I wouldn't be in this situation, obviously, you know. There are lots of things that I used to be able to do and now I can't do. You know, that's what I miss most of all.
And the drug has helped us. Given that has extended our life. It gave us hope, and also every day that David's still able to do those things, we're convinced is down to the fact that we've been lucky enough to be on the trial. Yeah. And that is a miracle.
A miracle perhaps, but the NHS has yet to approve the drugs, a process that will take a few years. But the need is great, with experts predicting almost 150 million people globally living with Alzheimer's by 2050. Mark Norman, BBC South East Today, Sevenoaks.
A gun holster identical to the one a man accused of murdering a Met Police sergeant was wearing at the time of the shooting has been shown to a jury. Mathieu Ratana, who was head coach at East Grinstead Rugby Club, was shot with a gun concealed in Louis de Zoysa's underarm holster at Croydon Custody Centre in September 2020. Louis de Zoysa denies murder. The Canterbury MP Rosie Duffield says she won't be attending the city's Pride event this weekend because she wouldn't be welcome. She's faced criticism for her opposition to people being allowed to self-identify as female, citing concerns over access to women-only areas and domestic violence safe spaces. Speaking to the BBC, Ms Duffield says she has absolutely no problem with trans people whatsoever and says she doesn't regret speaking out on the issue. 47 activists who caused chaos for motorists on the M25 in 2021 have been convicted. 54 people were charged with 133 offences back in September 2021, with 47 subsequently found guilty following a series of hearings and trials which have taken place over the last few months. The protesters were convicted of a variety of offences, including willful obstruction of a highway and criminal damage. Now, you couldn't fail to notice it's getting hotter, and this weekend temperatures could hit 30 Celsius. A hot weather warning has been issued for the southeast as parts of the county are predicted to be hotter than Marbella, Ibiza or Tenerife. Fiona Irving has been in Camber Sands for the day as they prepare for the weekend crowds.
Preparing for the crowds heading to the beach tomorrow. It's the first sustained period of hot weather this year, and after a quiet season so far, businesses in Camber are looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely it's going to be a busy weekend, I think. Sun's out, so loads of people are going to be coming down from all over. So we are gearing up, we're preparing, got all the fish out, we're prepping today, all ready for the weekend, yeah.
86-year-old Henry has been serving the tourists here all his life. He's ready for the punters tomorrow.
We have to be all topped up, all ready, and waiting for the people and serving as we go.
And what are you hoping for? Big queues?
We're hoping for big queues. Lovely to get them, it would be. But things have gone up so much, and the cost of living, it's crippling all the small businesses.
With temperatures expected to reach 30 degrees Celsius, in the southeast an amber heat health alert has been issued for the weekend and into Monday.
As a result of climate change, we are expecting to see more warmer weather in the coming years. And as you'll be aware, we had very, very warm weather over the summer last year, with temperatures exceeding 40 degrees for the first time. And unfortunately, we did see the health impacts of that. We saw a number of people becoming unwell, and Over 2,500 people unfortunately died with health-related conditions during that hot period last year. So it is something we are concerned about. It's one of the reasons why the heat health alert system has been changed, so that we can raise awareness amongst our colleagues in health and social care and also members of the public.
But hot is good for business on the coast, and those flocking here over the weekend will be looking to soak up the rays, but also maybe have an ice cream or buy a bucket and spade and enjoy the start of summer.
I love the heat. I absolutely love it. And the kids love it. By the looks of it, they love it as well. When I first moved here, it was a lot of rain and stuff, so it's been really great to experience some beaches like I'm used to in California. Tomorrow might be a bit too hot for the kids, so we're going to head back home. But yeah, we had to buy the shelter especially today because she fell asleep in the sun. So yeah, it's been great.
We had an ice cream and it was very hot, and the sun is even hotter than the sun.
Businesses will be hoping for a busy start to the summer season and that the sun keeps on shining. Fiona Irving, BBC South East Today, Canberra Sands.
Lovely. Now, it is a beautiful day for the start of the South of England show, but the outlook is bleak, say farmers, as they struggle to deal with rising costs. Almost 90% of farmers say they've been negatively impacted by the rising costs of energy, fuel and fertiliser. Feed costs have gone up by more than 70%, and since 2019, the wholesale gas price has gone up by 650%. Our environment correspondent Yvette Austin reports on a tough period for farmers and consumers alike.
The South of England show is so much better when the sun shines for the visitors and organisers alike, but it merely masks the problems currently facing our farmers.
Farming is in a state of flux, I think. I'm not quite sure where we're headed. Last year was a fantastic year. This year is the opposite end of the spectrum, lacking in direction from government. An interesting, confusing time.
It's traditionally an occasion for farmers to get together and chew the fat. There's much discussion over ways to cut costs and still produce the food we need.
Pig farmers have left in their droves because last year was a very, very, very tough year for livestock farmers. Obviously the poor avian flu outbreaks have decimated flocks of laying hens. So it's not great, but at the same time farmers are very, very passionate about what they do.
But of course it's not just farmers who are struggling. There's been an impact on the show itself too, and some debate over whether it needs to be more commercial.
It just has to be run as a business. It's as simple as that. The numbers, the people don't come in the numbers to these agricultural shows that they did in the past, and we rely increasingly heavily on commercial activity, the renting of the showground outside of our spring, summer, autumn and Christmas fairs, so that we can make ends meet.
And for the first time, certainly I think in the 20 or so years I've been coming here, there's no stand or display by the National Farmers Union. Quite surprising for an agricultural show. But, like others, they're cutting costs and restructuring. But visitor numbers here are expected to be up on last year.
We've just had a great time. The weather's been amazing, and we've seen the motorbikes in the ring, and there's little Shetland ponies doing the running around. It's been great, really good fun.
You'll find something here like the steam traction engines. I found those fascinating.
We've been shopping, got some nice plants for the garden. So yeah, no, lovely, a lot more here than what there has been for last year. So it's nice to see it onwards and upwards.
Come along, it's a good day out, guys. It's a good day out, and make the effort to actually stop and ask farmers what they're doing, how they rear their animals, how they do their things, because they love talking to people.
The show goes on over the weekend. Yvette Austin, BBC South East Today, Ardingly.
It's just after 7:15, a reminder of our top story tonight. Samples of seawater taken off the south coast reveal evidence of recreational drugs, pesticides and medicine, as Southern Water is blamed by residents for discharging raw sewage. The water company insists it has complied with all Environment Agency rules. Also in tonight's programme, an extraordinary achievement during one of the deadliest spring seasons at Everest. A double amputee army veteran from Canterbury conquers the mountain. He's back to tell us the tale.
And this weekend is going to be hot and humid, for most of us staying dry and sunny, but there is the small chance of some thunderstorms. I've got the details later on in the programme.
A work of art by Banksy, which appeared on a wall in Margate, is set to go on public display. Valentine's Day mascara was created in February and later removed for restoration. It's now ready to go on show at the Dreamland theme park, from where Ian Palmer reports.
The story began on Valentine's Day and ends, for now, at Dreamland, the historic amusement attraction in Margate.
No word from Banksy, no. I hope he's pleased with what we've achieved, because I mean the owner obviously was gifted. She never expected to wake up with a Banksy on the wall, but also that comes with great responsibility. So they wanted to try and keep the integrity of the piece intact. They wanted it obviously removed from the house. We wanted to try and keep it in Margate as long as possible.
Valentine's Day mascara appeared on the side of a house in Margate on the 14th of February. It's the work of the world-renowned artist Banksy. The mural is commentary on the scourge of domestic violence. Since the pandemic, the charity Oasis has seen a 45% increase in inquiries.
Whatever way you look at it, it raises the awareness around domestic abuse, and it starts to spark that conversation, which actually to me is one of the most important things. You're going to have thousands of people walk through the door, families, young people, a range of different individuals, and sparking that conversation.
The Banksy was removed and strengthened at a cost of £100,000. When offered to Dreamland Margate for display, managers jumped at the chance.
We thought long and hard about the piece because it is a very sensitive subject matter, and Dreamland is a place for fun and entertainment and escapism to a certain extent. Allowing people to see it in this kind of environment, they may not talk about the topic whilst they're here, but I think they'll take that away with them, and it will open up conversations, and I think that's really, really important.
The Banksy artwork weighs more than 4 tons. It's taken the work of more than 40 people and 4 months just to get here. The question being asked now is, will the artist himself make a secret visit to come and see it?
I kind of feel like it fits, Dreamland's a quirky kind of place full of oddities, and why wouldn't we have a Banksy?
The owner says the domestic violence charity Oasis will be given a 6-figure sum when the Banksy is sold. The mural will remain here for a year. You can see it for yourself from Sunday. Ian Palmer, BBC South East Today, Margate.
Now, he returned home to a hero's welcome in Canterbury earlier this month after becoming the first ever double amputee to reach the summit of the world's tallest mountain. How impressive. In a moment, we'll be speaking to Army veteran Hari Buddha-Magar to find out how it feels to have conquered Everest. But first, let's take a look at his extraordinary achievement.
Rough seas might pull me under and dark clouds might dim my days, but there's always bright tomorrows when I close my eyes and say, remember how you've made it through the fire, remember how you've come so far, an unstoppable force of nature, yeah, that's what you are. I know all that I have lost has given me the purpose of conquering my pain through love. I say this here to rise above. I am a mountain, and down in the valley below is all that I've overcome. All that I've overcome. Whoa. I am a mountain, and down in the valley below is all that I've overcome. All that I've to be one.
Well, Hari Buddha-Magar joins us now. I don't know where to start. How does it feel watching that? I mean, all of us in the office were quite choked up watching that. How do you feel watching it back?
I'm feeling it's a bit unreal. The last 5-6 years, I was just thinking to climb that mountain, and
you've done it.
It's done it, and it's really done. Yeah, I think it's done.
But so. Also not just a literal mountain, but a metaphorical mountain. I mean, the journey that you've gone on post 2010 to where you are now. Did you ever think that you would be in this position, having conquered Everest?
No, definitely not.
You're a man who doesn't give up.
Yeah. I think giving is not an option, and I have a Gorkha blood. You know, our motto is it's better to die than being a coward. So.
And what was it like? Just an incredible experience, but you were telling me off camera, pretty tough.
Yeah, it was tough. It was quite dangerous as well, especially above the Camp 4. It was, you know, we ran out of oxygen, and some of our team had to come down, and it was quite tough. And also, you know, looking the people are dying on the mountain. So.
It's been billed as one of the deadliest spring climbing seasons at Everest. A lot of people, unfortunately, have not made it up or haven't made it back down. And that's to do with overcrowding. How did you experience that side of it?
When we climbed, we were the last team to reach and last team to come down. So apart from going up to just face of the south summit, there was little crowds, especially we had to wait for a couple of times, but other time there was no crowd at all. But I think you know, many people who goes there, they don't go with the right team, they don't have a proper training, and they don't have a right kit and equipment, I think, and some of are just unfortunate, and maybe don't plan according on that when the weather and so many things. So it could be go wrong for so many reasons. So I think some ways it caught them, and they couldn't able to come down.
Well, it's an incredible achievement, and you are a massive inspiration to so many people out there. Hari, thank you for coming in to talk to us today, and well done.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Enjoy resting
Thank
up now. You have earned it. Wonderful stuff. Now, if you love a round of golf, but your prowess is more on the crazy side, you may be excited to hear that there is an actual World Crazy Golf Championships taking place in Hastings this weekend. The tournament takes place each summer in the English seaside town, with golfers battling it out for the prestigious trophy, as James Dunn reports.
It's the biggest battle in British crazy golf, and these two local legends are the hot favourites.
My name is Mark, the Force Chapman, and I'm a three-time World Crazy Golf champion. Drama, you want drama, real drama. Well, we've got this sort of lighthouse behind us, there's a windmill, there's a helter-skelter, there's a dangerous watermill that if you get your timing wrong, your ball will clatter into the bar that runs along the bottom of it. So it's not quite putting through a clown's mouth, but it's as close as you're going to get.
My name's Adam Kelly, and I'm the reigning World Crazy Golf Champion. I've played some tournaments for Great Britain. I've represented in Germany, Portugal, Sweden, Finland. Hastings is just iconic. The town is the capital of mini golf in the UK. Everything about this course, this tournament, the traditions surrounding it, we love it, and that's why I and loads of players keep coming back every year.
It is, of course, a bit of fun, but this is a competition with real prestige too. And this year, on the 20th anniversary of the championships, it's bringing in competitors from all over the world.
My name is Josh Mars, the putting wonder from Down Under. It took me 30 hours to get to Hastings, long flight, but I'm glad I'm finally here. Checked out all the tourist spots, been to a lot of the pubs, but main thing was to come here and play crazy golf. A lot of practice the whole week, and you got to practice it.
My husband Tom and we had our first date mini golfing, and from there we've now played about 500 mini golf courses around the world. We got married on the same mini golf course we had our first date, and we review all the courses we play, and we also design courses.
It's just the World Crazy Golf Championships. This has been running for 20 years down here. Obviously we had to miss one out because of COVID, but this is our 20th anniversary. It's our largest ever field. We've got over 250 players playing this weekend. It's fantastic.
There is a purse of £1,250 for the winner, but it's all about the crazy golf and the ultimate putter's prestige. James Dunn, BBC South East Today, Hastings.
There really is a sport for everyone. So let's have a look at that wonderful weather forecast. Well, it depends on whether you like it hot or not. I do, as you know, Nina, but it's not for everyone.
It isn't for everyone, and of course it's been dry for such a long time. And whilst we are talking about some isolated showers and thunderstorms, for most of us it is going to be dry. And of course for the last few weeks parts of East Kent have been stuck underneath the cold, cloudy, windy weather. Today, however, we saw some sunshine in Broadstairs. It was still pretty windy, and as we move our way down towards Dover, lighter winds with some sunshine, and temperatures today got into the low 20s. We'll lift those up into the mid to high 20s for the next couple of days. But along with the heat comes an increase in humidity, most noticeable overnight, where temperatures will be in the mid-teens. Now, whilst we've got that hot and humid weather, the Met Office have issued a yellow warning for thunderstorms. These are the areas covered Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. It shows us the greatest risk of seeing some of the heaviest downpours, mainly across northern and western areas. That's not to say we won't see any showers elsewhere, but certainly less likely. Overnight tonight, however, it is going to be dry with clear spells, warmer than recent nights, with lows for most of us being at around about 12 to 13 degrees. So predominantly Saturday will be dry and sunny. The heat really building as we go through the day. Always a little more breeze around the coast, keeping temperatures in the mid-20s. For inland areas, we could see the high 20s, around about 28 to 29 degrees, our top temperature. And you can just start to see the hint of those showers. To pinpoint them exactly, very tricky. An indication that they are isolated, but if you do get caught in one of those downpours, it's likely to be heavy and could cause some localised flooding. Any showers or thunderstorms that develop will clear then overnight as we head in towards Sunday morning. Just a few light showers with a little more cloud possible in towards the early hours, but quite a warm start to Sunday morning with temperatures of around 14 to 15 degrees. I think slightly more cloud on Sunday. That sunshine could be a little hazy, and again a few showers are possible, the heaviest of the downpours potentially developing as we go through the afternoon. So with slightly more cloud, I think those temperatures not quite as high on Sunday, but still for most of us in the mid to high 20s. Just this weather front picking up the potential for those showers again on Monday, but it clears through next week. The high builds back in. We will pick up a little bit more of an easterly breeze, so the heat is really with us for the next couple of days, but then through next week we'll stick with dry and sunny conditions, but I think those temperatures just starting to come down a few degrees to around 24. Elle.
Thank you very much, Nina. I'm not complaining, but do stay hydrated. That is it from me and the rest of the team. Ian Palmer, though, will be back with your late news at 10:30. Bye-bye for now.